What's going on, everybody? Brandon, ActIn here, talking about writing your exercise plan. So if you watched the video before, this is kind of a little caveat of going in depth for a basic exercise program template for you. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I had somebody come up to me in the gym saying, Brandon, I usually do strength 1 week, and then the next week I do circuits. I was like, why do you do that? He said something along the lines of, I figured if I do strength, I'll increase my strength 1 week, and then I'll increase my conditioning the next week. That is stupid. Doesn't make any sense. So I figured I would do this video to help everybody understand the basics of writing a program, right? And we're just doing basics as in pull, push, and legs, right? Pull, push, legs, push, pull, legs, however you want to, right? We're all pull, push, legs because you should be hitting legs a couple times throughout the week. This is, again, for the basics. So if we do pull, right? When we're doing pull, that's going to be mainly our back. It should also hit our full posterior chain, so our glutes, our hamstrings. We can also hit biceps with it. So you always want to start with your compound lifts. Compound lifts being, let's say, deadlifts. And I always like to do a superset with something that the client or myself are weaker in. So your back isn't staying tight, we should do band pull aparts. Or if my glutes aren't activating right, then we should do like monster walks, right? After we're done with that, I would say go into smaller movements, quote unquote smaller, meaning rows. So you could do lat pull down, you could do pendlay rows, you could do lawnmowers, T-row, I could go on, right? Next, we want to think about smaller muscles and isolating those smaller muscles. So let's say curls, we want those curls so our biceps get a little bit bigger, we get a little stronger. They're not really going to help us with our pulls, but they're there. They help aid in some things, right? You can also hit those smaller back muscles as well. Moving on to push. With push, again, we're starting with our compound exercises, those big movements. With that, always stay tight, right? So we're doing, let's say, bench press with our push. And then we want to superset with, I don't know, scapular push-ups. Again, we want to make sure that back stays tight, and other things that most people lack at, right? Then we move on to smaller movements. So I say flies, we're isolating that chest instead of hitting all of our upper body. Technically, a bench press is everything, right? And then you can do isolations for shoulder press or V shoulder press, anything like that. And then again, we're doing smaller muscles at the end. Again, this is all basic, right? Basic way for you to progress. So that way you can have that FITT principle, that overload principle to continue to get better. Last but not least, my favorite is legs. So when we start with our legs, we want to do that compound movement. Most people have very weak glute knees. So their knees flare in and they don't flare out. So when we do supersets with fire hydrants, we start to work on our glute knees, and that will aid in our squat. After we're done with that, we can hit our smaller movements. Let's say leg curls, you can even do leg extensions. You could do leg press, meaning like you're not going to be fatigued as much like when you do squats, right? So we want to make sure you're good for your squats so your whole body works together. Last but not least, we want to work on those small muscle groups again. So for calves, especially all you bros, and those adductors, right? So those are just general things to keep in mind. Also, when you're writing your program, do not skip your warm-up. I cannot stress that enough. Do not skip your warm-up. Thanks for watching. Keep acting fit.